This is Bill McCord speaking for Redbook. Do the top performers of the entertainment world play parts off stage as well as on? You'll be interested, I think, in some very personal opinions on this subject from two of the top performers around these days, Miss Judy Garland and Mr. Noel Coward. Their remarks were picked up by the microphone in the course of a frank and revealing backstage conversation recorded for a feature in the current issue of Redbook. Here's what they have to say.
Why must you be entertaining? Because we were born to entertain.
We were born to. You can't avoid it. You're wrong. Judy and I went into that party last night. I was absolutely exhausted because a big opening night. I'd been rehearsing during the day. I'd been working frightfully hard these last few weeks. Judy came into the party. I got there a little before her, and immediately became Judy Garland. She stopped being Judy. I was no more Noel. I was Noel Coward. Debonair, witty, charming.
And I was Dorothy Adorable.
And you were just Dorothy Adorable. And we smiled, and we were such good sorts. And do you know, to go on being a good sort in public for a long time is very wearing. Because we weren't feeling good sorts at all. What we wanted to do was to come back here, which ultimately we did.
Put on some slacks and
put on
around
some,
in the floor.
Take our shoes off and have a drink and discuss the show. But it was done.
And you know,
you go home
I'm getting
screaming.
so old, I wonder why I do it anymore, but I still do. I suppose it's something we never...
We're show people.
I suppose, because I remember one night I was recording in London. I recorded for hours, what, 4 or 5 hours, and a party was given for me afterwards. I got there and everyone had eaten. There were just sort of remains on the table, you know, awful strings of cold ham and wilted lettuce, and but I was so hungry that I'd take anything. And I think the hostess said, "Now here, I'll get you some food." She brought me this miserable plate of food, and then said, "Now, everybody's been waiting for you to sing." And I said, "But I've just been singing for 5 hours, you know." It didn't make any sense. They just and I went and we sang for another 3 hours. We really did, and went home on our hands and knees, just so tired.
I'll tell you one little story that happened to me during the war. I had been in the canal zone outside Cairo, and I'd done 5 hospitals in the heat of summer in Cairo. I got back and found a message saying, "King Farouk giving a party, and will you come?" So I obediently went off, and there was one of the most boring social parties I've ever seen, with King Farouk came up to me very courteously and said, "Mr. Coward, would you sing us a few songs?" So I went to the piano, and I sang a number, and everybody was fairly attentive, but sort of restless. And then I started off on Night and Day, and I did the drip, drip, drip of the raindrop and everything, and then everybody got quiet, except King Farouk, who was sitting about as near to me as you are, with a lady, and he was saying, "Well," and so I got to the chorus and lost my temper. And I went, "In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence!" And he stopped dead, and there was a terrible hush. And then I said, "Of my lonely room, I
Some off-the-cuff comments from Judy Garland and Noel Coward on the parts performers sometimes have to play off-stage. This celebrity dialogue feature was furnished by Redbook magazine.